Hello all, hello. Now, firstly, apologies. I know there wasn't a midweek video this week. I was a bit busy, okay? But really, that's the beauty of the side hustle, isn't it? Yeah? Some weeks you can, some weeks you can't, all right? So apologies if you were looking out for it. Next week, I will get one out in the middle of the week. Anyway, welcome to In, On and Gone. Video number 57, live from Smithy's shed, this time on a Saturday afternoon. I'm making this video. It's not the Sunday anymore. I've got the Porthcawl 10K tomorrow. Yeah, looking forward to that one. Knees are beginning to hurt already, just thinking about it. Anyway, in these videos, I will show you what comes in to the shop on eBay, what is gone from the shop on eBay, and what is on. Okay, the on is the easy part. Take a look below. And the title this week is all about footwear, because there's a lot of footwear that I'm selling at the moment. Is it a seasonal thing? It could be. It could be, because you've got the summer shoes, you've got the occasion shoes. When I say occasions, I'm talking about weddings. You know, we're into summer season, weddings. Surely there are more weddings in the summer than in the winter. All right. And that's just me making a guess at that. But anyway, in these videos, for the gone section that I will start with, I tell you about all the things that I've sold within a week, promoted at 2%, and then some other things that have taken longer than a week to sell. So without any further ado, let's get into it, shall we? What has sold quickly? First up, they don't just make good trousers, they make good shoes as well that are highly in demand. Marks and Spencer's. These were a pair of Airflex Total Comfort. So I just consulted with my book then. All right, I totally forgot the range name for them. And getting the range name into the title is really, really important. So these were Airflex Total Comfort shoes. Okay, brown. Just your normal looking comfort shoes. They are in demand. Okay, people do want them. People are looking for them, especially if they're in decent condition. Your photographs have to show that. Okay, now these I sourced for £2. Really, really pleased with that sourcing. That's a great source, that is. Normally £5, okay? I want these videos to be educational to you, to give you an idea of whereabouts the cut-off points are for certain things. I would say for men's comfort shoes, £5 is your cut-off point if you're looking for them in charity shops or other places like Vinted and stuff like that. Now, these went for £18.60, okay, including postage. All right, so when all the fees were taken off, the eBay fees and the postage, I was left with £12.33. Okay, so take the £2 that I paid for it off that, and I'm left with a profit of £10.33, which is a 576, or is that 516? It's 516. Even the quick maths in my head said that's not 576, that's 516. 516% profit on those shoes. Okay, now I go for between 50 and 100%. So this has smashed that. Really pleased with it. Really, really solid sourcing find there for those shoes. Okay, just £2 for them. Brilliant. Okay, so yeah, that was a very, very good sale. Next up, another really nice pair of shoes, and these were a pair of handmade shoes, British handmade shoes. It's a brand called Grenson, Grenson. And I found these, which were like a crocodile loafer, for £4. Okay, so that's a great find, because these went for £26.60. All right, that's including postage. To me, this is probably an occasion shoe, or like an office wear shoe. But I'm thinking it's probably occasion shoe. All right, £16.45 back after fees and postage. I think because I sourced these for a good price, I put these on at 10% promotion. All right, so it's a little bit more taken off, but they sold really, really quickly. £12.45 profit in all, okay, which is 311%. So sometimes when you source at that level, it is worth putting the extra percentage on the promotional rate so that it's just, you're just paying that little bit extra to get your money back a bit quicker. Okay, it does work in some cases. It does work, and in this case it certainly did work. So, you know, again, smashing that 50 to 100% target, really pleased. All in all this week for the quick sales, there are 5. All right, but the actual returns on these quick sales are some of the best that I have had. So yeah, 2 really, really good ones to start with. In third place for the quick sales, because I do put these in order of percentage markup, was a pair of Skechers deck shoes. The deck shoe look is, I mean, hopefully you'll see the photo coming through now so you know what I mean by the deck shoe look, is very, very popular in the summer. And as summer shoes, these sell really, really well. Skechers do incredibly well as a comfort shoe. They really do have, and it is growing, a very, very strong following from people. These I paid £7 for, a little bit more. All right, just a little bit more than a £5. But I thought that because these were a strong brand and the design of them was a strong design as well, I thought that they would go pretty well. And I was right to think that, because I sold them for £25.60. All right, after that I got £18.17 back. Okay, so that gave me a profit of £11.17, which on that £7 is a markup of 159%. So again, really, really strong. They're really strong. Skechers are a very, very strong brand that both men and women are interested in. Yeah, it's not the youngsters, I know that. All right, but still people looking out there, value for money, and knowing that in the Skechers shops, these shoes go for like northwards of 60 quid. If you've got them on and they're in good condition and your photographs show that, then yeah, you're onto a good thing. Coming in fourth place. Now, this brand is a brand that I've only just started putting on, but is beginning to do very, very well. And it's certainly a brand that I will stay with, especially with their premium trousers. It's Next. Good old Next. That used to be Hepworth's, but changed their name to Next in the 80s and have stayed, well, I'm saying on the high street, but you do find them now in a lot of these retail parks that are in towns and cities. So anyway, these were a nice pair of Next cotton twill, okay, with stretch, and all of that went into the title. Nice pair of trousers, decent size. I think they were a 32, but I paid £3.50 for them. All right, and I sold them for £11.60. So after the fees and everything, I mean, these would have been promoted at 2%. £5.06 back, £1.56 profit, 44%. So close to that 50. These are quick selling bread and butter items that I feel every single eBay shop needs to keep the cash flow ticking over, to keep your sales up and going. Yeah, it's not a huge profit, but they're very, very easy to photograph. They're very, very easy to list, especially if you use a template. So yeah, these tick along nicely. Next trousers are a very, very good trousers to sell. They do sell through quickly if you can source them at a decent rate. So I made £1.56 when I sourced them at only £3.50. So, you know, you're probably thinking £4 is probably the limit on the sourcing of these. A £5, I would have been very, very close to just breaking even, which I don't really want to do. So yeah, keep your eye out. There are many shops, especially the bigger charity shops, that will just put loads of trousers in there at £3 and not really look at who they're made by or what material is in the trouser. They'll just put them out there, everything at the same price. So they're the sort of ones that you want to find trousers like this in. And coming in fifth place in terms of return on investment, I did have this as my title last week, digital radios. Thank you to all the comments that everybody made along the lines of, it's not just digital radios at Small Electronics that sell really well, also DVD players and VHS recorders do as well. Yeah, fully aware of that. In fact, I've sourced a DVD player this morning. Look out for that next week. VHS recorders, players, a little bit more difficult to come by. All right, I think you might have to source those online and see if anybody's selling it cheap on eBay, or see if there's anybody for spares and repairs on eBay. I would say that there's a huge market for VHS players, so if you can repair them and get one at spares and repairs, they are worth repairing, basically because you can't buy them in shops anymore. eBay is the only place where you can get these now, and people still have videotapes that they want to play. So yeah, these digital radios, DVD players, VHS players, small, what I would call small, easily boxed electronics, do very, very well. Anyway, actually, saying small, can you call VHS players small? I can remember my Ferguson Video Star in the 80s. You could build houses with it. It was huge. It was like a big brick, and it weighed a ton. So yeah, DVD players and digital radios are small electronics. VHS players are medium-sized. Anyway, yeah, so this bushed digital radio, £6 I sourced it for, £13.60 I sold it for, okay, £8.55 back, £2.55 profit, which is a 42%er. All right, so those five that I've just told you about, those five quick sellers, they all sold within 7 days. All right, so that gives you an idea of what sells quickly. Some of it's because of its brand, some of it is because of what season it is. I reckon the trousers, the cotton trousers, are certainly seasonality based. I'm not selling any wool trousers at the moment. It's all cotton and linen. All right, the wool trousers will start to come in terms of sales from about September onwards. But all in all, £22.50 on these, £60.56 back, giving me a profit of £38.06, which if you divide that by 5 is £7.61. That's really good, because normally I'm aiming for about £4 to £5. Sometimes I'm coming in at high £3. So this markup for this week has been excellent. Average return on investment is 214%. So yeah, a good week, even though it's only 5 things. All right, those 5 things that I've just shown you, strong sellers, really strong sellers. So what about the stuff that has taken longer than a week? There's a couple of shoes in these as well. I'll start with these ones. A pair of Levi's canvas Tijuana shoes, spelled Tijuana. I think that's sort of like got a Mexican influence to it, hasn't it? But these were a pair of nice canvas shoes that I picked up for a £5. Now, they have taken a bit of time to shift these. I'm saying about 6 months. But, you know, it is a canvas summer shoe, so you wouldn't expect to sell these in the winter. £20.60 was the offer that I took on these. All right, so after postage and fees, £14.04 left. Take the £5 off that I paid for them, £9.04, which is a profit of 180%. So again, smashing that bracket that I go for. These were a very, very good pair of shoes to sell. They were in good condition as well, and the photograph showed that. So yeah, you know, this shoes sell well. Especially if they're in good condition, because you know they do cost a lot of money. A decent pair of shoe cost a lot of money. So yeah, I was pleased with these. Next up is a brand that I don't really go for that much, but will go for if the sourcing price is right and also the product is right as well. The brand is Superdry. eBay is overridden with Superdry. There's a lot of Superdry stuff on eBay, so if you do put Superdry stuff on there, there's a huge amount of competition for what you have. But it's still a strong brand, it still sells, and these were a pair of coloured corduroy trousers. So you are putting coloured trousers sell well, and corduroy trousers are making a comeback. I see some of the youngsters wearing them. Not all youngsters, mind, only some. They're certainly not as popular as jeans, but the corduroy trouser is beginning to make a comeback. So these were a nice pair of slim fitting red, or sort of like wine burgundy red, super dry corduroy trousers. 32 waist, that's quite low. And I think that might have added to the amount of time that it took to sell. Most waistlines are 34, 36 and above. Okay. But anyway, on average, I'm talking about UK average there. So I sourced those I sourced them for £4. Sourced for £4. So below a fiver that I would normally have gone for. Sold for £16.35, £10.49 back, £6.49 profit, 162%. So in this case, these super dry trousers performed quite well. And basically it was because where I got them from didn't smack the premium on them. £4. Okay. So you do have to look, you do have to have a little bit of a rootle and a rummage. But these were in good condition, and they took a bit of time to shift, but I think that was because of the 32 waist. We're talking, when I say a bit of time, we're talking about 3 months, but some good returns there. Next up, another pair of shoes, a pair of running shoes this time, a pair of Nike Run Swift running shoes. Now, these are just your base Nike trainers. There's nothing really, there's no like air bubble in them. There's no sort of like stability control in them. They're a very neutral running shoe. When I say neutral, there's two types of running shoe. You can either have neutral or you can have a stability shoe. So always look out for that. The stability shoes usually have some really firm foam in the bottom of them by the heel. So always, if you're thinking about selling running shoes on, always have a squeeze of the foam by the heel. If it's soft, that means it's a neutral shoe. So you can list it as a neutral shoe. If it's quite hard, it's got some stability about it. Okay, the running shoes, you do require to do a little bit of research for them to find out what type of shoe they are, and then put that type into the title. That will get more eyes onto it, because people who know what they're doing with their running will know if they're either a stability shoe or a neutral shoe. Run Swift are a pretty well developed neutral shoe from Nike, and brand new. These are like 50, 60 quid. So if you've got some that are in really, really good condition, and you can show that they're in good condition with the photographs, you have got a bit of interest there. All right, and that's exactly what happened here. These Nike Run Swifts were a size 6, and I sourced them off Vinted for £3.86. So that's a great source, because they sold for £15.60. That gave me £9.89 back, £6.03 profit, 156%. Banging. Okay, pleased with that one as well. All right, so yeah, there's some good sales coming in this week. There's some good ones. I mean, from what I'm going to tell you about, 6 from that weren't sold within 7 days. That took a little bit longer that I sold this week. But yeah, running shoes, if in good condition and if photographed properly, yeah, all right. But just get the right stuff into the title. Next up, I sold another part of that laptop that I took apart, that Dell XPS laptop. What I did, for those that don't know about this or watching this for the first time, I researched what popular laptops were, what highly rated selling laptops were. The Dell XPS range came up as one of the best, so I got myself one. It was about 10 years old, and I spent 48 quid on it. So I got one for 48 quid, and I've taken it to bits, and I'm selling off the bits for people who repair computers. Now, I'm just seeing how an older computer performs. Just seeing. And at the moment, I put these on the 22nd of May. It's now early June. 5 of the 12 components that I put on have sold. All right. And from my valuation of them, at the moment, I'm making a profit of £7.58. So I'm in profit. But is it a big profit? Not really. Not really. So I think next time I do this, I will do it on a computer that is slightly newer. I might need to spend more on it, but maybe that would be a bit better. Okay, who knows? If you're going to make an omelette, you've got to crack some eggs. If you're going to go swimming, you've got to get wet. All right, you've got to try these things to put yourself out there. All right, but anyway, I valued this screen at £4, and somebody made an offer of £15.60 on the screen. Okay, £10.27 back, £6.27 profit on that, 156%. So yeah, great. All right, really pleased with that. That's coming in at the sort of levels that I want it to come in at. But the previous things that I sold from this laptop have been very small markups, and one was a loss. If you look back through my catalogue, I think it was in on and gone 54 or 55, where I mentioned one where I made a slight loss because, you know, I didn't really appreciate the value of it. All right, but I live and learn, okay, and I know for next time. I think it was the battery. I valued the battery at something like £9.50, and really it should have been £6. Okay, so we're only talking about a couple of quid, but in these senses, and considering that I want to develop my store to be able to have a very high turnover rate at, you know, profit margins that are coming in at about between 50 and 100%, but sometimes that's just a couple of quid. But I believe that is the sort of thing that will get the cash flow going. All right. So anyway, I'm beginning to waffle a bit now on that. I think you understand what I mean. So another part of the computer has been sold. Okay, fifth thing, golf polos again. Yeah, this was a FootJoy golf polo. I think if your photos show good condition and it's a decent golfing brand, I mean, if you're unsure of what a decent golfing brand is, look it up. Okay, this is the research that you have to do. But this was a FootJoy, which is, yeah, they're known for their shoes, but they've also gone in for clothing as well. And it's a well-known brand, the old FJ. Okay, most golfers will be aware of this brand. This was a polo which cost me £5.60. Okay, £12.60 offered. As I said, I'm finding that the golf polos are quite seasonal in the way in which offers are made. Better offers come in the summer months than what they do in the winter months, most definitely. £7.56 back after postage and fees, giving me nearly £2 profit, £1.96, which is 35%. That's because of the sourcing. I sourced it at £5.60. I reckon that I could have got this lower to get myself into the 50 to 100 target bracket. But hey, it's still giving me 40-odd%. So yeah, okay, I'm pleased with that. All right. So yeah, hobbies or stuff associated with hobbies can be a real staple, constant seller for your eBay store. And last but not least, to tell you about, this one was a watch. I'm getting into watches. They're small, they're compact, they're easy to send, they're unlikely to break as long as you wrap them and package them properly. So there's a lot of potential there, and they hold value as well. I found a swatch, and I was curious as to how the brand would do. This was a Swatch wall climber watch, or if I actually say it was a Swatch climber flower watch. Okay, it cost me £10. I reckon I could get them for cheaper than that, but I was curious to see just how well it would do, and I sold it for £18.60. So £12.15 back after fees and postage and everything, £2.15 profit, 21%. So that says to me that to get something like this, you're looking at below £10. If you can pick one up for between 5 and 10, you are probably, you're going to make more than 21%, definitely. But 10 is cut off, maybe lower, maybe I'd say 9. All right. So yeah, there we are with that one. All right. So there you go. There's some things that I've sold this week that hopefully you can see, you can be educated on, and keep your eye out for as to which ones do well, which ones don't do so well. As for what's coming up in the store this week, I've got a load of old gramophone records. There's about 100 that I bought for £12. And some of them have got HMV labels on, his master's voice. There's some songs that I am aware of in terms of orchestras, like there's a bit of Vivaldi there and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll see how they do. That's something that I'm going to put on this week, but I don't know whether to put them on as an auction or as an actual buy it now. We'll see. I'm probably going to put it on as an auction. Because I paid £12 for that many, just selling them for £1 will be fine. It won't really bother me that much. So as long as I put the right postage on, which I will, and then start them at 99p, we'll see. We'll see if I can get any shifted that way. The more I think about it, the more I'm thinking, yeah, I'm more likely to do it like that. Use some of the auction allocations that I have, as well as the buy it nows. Okay, right. Nice talking to you. I am going to do, hopefully, a video this week on a load of watches that I've just bought and what I hope to do with them and the money that I hope to make from them. I did a video a few weeks back about my plans for like the next 10 years or so. So yeah, this is the start of something new. All right. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your subscriptions. Okay, it's been absolutely fantastic. I have reached 1,000 now, so I'm going to kick this on. I'm going to keep this going. I'm really enjoying it. Okay, hope you are too. Lovely. See you soon. Bye-bye.